Hi everybody, this is On Air, my Beatles collection. Today I'm continuing my VJ Records series. This is the second of probably many videos that I'm going to do regarding VJ albums. So I'm going to do them one at a time and walk you through them. Today, the record is Hear the Beatles Tell All. Now this is an original 1964 copy, which advertises on the back other Beatles records or Beatles related. Of course, VJ had really only the rights to one album, and they just repackaged it in several different fashions. In my first video in this series, I talked about this one, the Beatles versus the Four Seasons. Anyway, today it's Hear the Beatles Tell All. Now, of course, there's no Beatles music on this. This involves interviews by Jim Stack and Dave Hull, and edited and scored by Lou Adler. And it features percussion by Hal Blaine, some would argue the greatest rock and roll drummer of all time. Hal was a part of the group in California that was involved in almost every record that came out of LA. The Wrecking Crew is what they refer to themselves as and what they've come to be known as. Hal Blaine being the drummer for that group of studio musicians. So anyway, this is Hear the Beatles Tell All, and the cover tells you all the different things that the Beatles are going to tell you about. Again, this is a VJ record, and this did come with a VJ sleeve that showed some of the other records that they released. Up here is the Four Seasons Golden Hits, which is the very same album that's in the Beatles versus the Four Seasons. And in my previous video, I showed that album as well. The one I have of that has the VJ Oval label. The one that came with the Beatles versus the Four Seasons has the VJ Brackets label. Now, the Brackets label is also, you're going to see the Brackets label on this VJ record. So here is that. As you can see, this is super clean label, a super clean record. Who knows if it was ever played? I haven't played it, and I don't think it's ever been played. It has no sign of wear whatsoever, no sign of debris whatsoever. It's in really excellent condition. As you can see, it's the VJ Brackets label. So, it doesn't have a lot of musical value. And, how many times do you want to listen to people answer the same questions? But, like all of the VJ albums, if you can find one in this kind of condition, and with a record that's in that kind of condition, you're going to pay some money for it. And you're going to be happy you have it. Now, I also have one that way up at the top, it says stereo. If it says stereo on it, it's from 1979, and it's a VJ reprint from the newly formed VJ of the 70s, and it's not worth nearly what this is. You'll see that one. Most of these that you'll see on eBay or someplace like that, if you see that stereo across the top there, then you got the 1979 version. This is the 1964 version. And I'm not even sure that is actually stereo. It says stereo, but, it's a dialogue record for all intents and purposes. One other interesting note is somebody did write on the back of this their name, which is, I mentioned in previous videos. Even in records that are in very clean, almost pristine condition, a lot of times people put their name on records because they brought them to parties, or they lent them out to people and they wanted to make sure they got them back. This, I can't imagine, is a record that somebody would take to a party. It's not much of a party record there. and you can't dance to it. But nonetheless, people want to put their name on things so they can claim ownership. So somebody decided to put their name on this one. So that's the only real flaw on this. The record is in great shape. The cover is in great shape. You should expect to pay well over $100 for something like this. Well over $100. And as is the case with most of the VJ records, if you have legitimate original VJ records and not one of the many, many, many introducing the Beatles that were, counterfeits. They were copies, that weren't legit. Or there is the famous Songs, Pictures, and Stories, which is shown right here. And that has a sleeve that opens out. The pictures stay steady, and this panel opens up. You'll see bootlegs on eBay now that are songs and pictures of the Beatles. It doesn't even use the right title. It doesn't say Songs, Pictures, and Stories, and it doesn't flip open. And they present them as if they were the original VJ albums, and sometimes they're asking higher than normal prices. I wouldn't say hundreds of dollars, but $40 or $50 for a record that really is not at all what the original was. Now, as I mentioned before, the VJ only owned really one album, The Contents of Introducing the Beatles. So if you buy Songs, Pictures, and Stories, guess what's inside? Introducing the Beatles. That's just kind of the way that worked out. On the others, you get the songs that were on Introducing the Beatles, but you don't actually get the album that way. On the Beatles versus the Four Seasons, you also get Introducing the Beatles. So that's another thing about VJ. But if you like to collect records and you can find VJ records that are in good condition, that clearly pass the not a bootleg, not a counterfeit test, and I'm going to do a separate video on the Introducing the Beatles album and talk about how you can identify a fake, counterfeit, how you can identify a real one, and all the varieties of the real one. And we'll talk about that in probably a lengthy future video. But for now, tonight, this episode 2 of my VJ series is Hear the Beatles Tell All. And stay tuned for more episodes covering other VJ albums. And we'll get into some more detail on some of the more exciting ones. But that's it for now. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. And if you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button and look to see you come back for some future and even some past videos. So good to see you here, and come back and see us. Take care.